This woman is probably 600 pounds.
Oh my God.
She clearly needs to have 2 seats. She's lambasting the company, saying that they used to be an ally. There is no right enumerated that you get to have 2 seats on an airplane for free.
If you want to get on an airplane at 700 pounds, you're not going to be able to accommodate you. I should not be subsidizing your 700 pounds to be on the airplane.
I'm Lydia Moynihan, a financial correspondent at the New York Post. Each week, Charlie Gasparino and I, a Post columnist and a Fox Business correspondent, talk about the biggest stories moving markets on Washington, Wall Street, and Main Street. Okay, Charlie, it's been an interesting week. It's the last week of August, but still very busy, even though it feels like we are truly the only people in New York.
I got a question for you. Why do they call it Cracker Barrel? By the way, this is the...
I don't want to get canceled, so I think you're going to have to answer that.
I know what you're thinking. You're thinking it has something to do with the old white dude on the barrel with the overalls. It does not. The barrel, they really put crackers in the barrel back in the day.
There you have it.
Now, don't ask me what they did with the crackers in the barrel, but they did, so it has...
Crackers were a delicacy.
It has nothing... They were literally this chain that provided a product that was reliable and good and... You know, it was what it was, country-style food. They had the old dude, white dude, on the standing next to the barrel, the cracker barrel, and with the crackers in it. And one day they decided to get rid of, I think his name was Uncle Herschel, by the way.
Well, this has happened where brands lose any character. It's like they hire a team of consultants.
And they're like, let's modernize.
And they come up with a so-called modernized brand that's boring. It lacks any character. It's sanitized. It's bland.
It's either sanitized and bland, or it's wickedly left. Like it's Dylan Mulvaney, half naked, the trans activist in a bubble bath drinking a Budweiser. I mean, it's either that or wickedly, sort of banal. And obviously, getting rid of the old white dude, people started raising their eyebrows. Well, why are they getting rid of Uncle Herschel? Is it because of woke? And literally,
they get rid of Uncle Herschel and Aunt Jemima. So in a way, you can say it affects everyone.
And so guess what happened this time? See, the Aunt Jemima thing happened during the social justice movement. Now that the pendulum has swung to the other side, they lost tens of millions of dollars, $100 million plus in market cap on a stock that had about a $1.2 billion market cap. So it wasn't like they can lose it. Then, lo and behold, they went back. They brought Uncle Herschel back.
The timing was strategic, right? Donald Trump literally posted about it.
Yeah, and it was obviously all over the news. We covered it. I did a story on it for the Post. But here's the thing: are they going? People, I hear a lot of conservatives saying, "Oh, they're going unwoke because they know that unwoke doesn't sell." Unwoke doesn't sell. We know that. It's a horrible branding. Right now, the branding of going woke, unwoke sells. The branding of going woke does not sell.
We
know that.
Jaguar ad.
Just example, Budweiser, Target, the whole thing. But if you go back to the company and do a deep dive into the company, they're still pretty damn woke. I looked at their ESG report. You thought ESG was gone. It's still around. Cracker Barrel has this voluminous ESG report touting how many transgendered, one-armed, short people they have as suppliers. I mean, I'm being facetious here. It is pretty detailed on the intersectionality matrix of their employees, of their board,
matrix
of every part of that company.
I've never heard that term before.
I guess you might be able to say Uncle Herschel's kind of woke.
It is so interesting though, sort of that disparity of you have people sitting on Madison Avenue or wherever the headquarters are, and they often don't even consume that product. They're not interacting really with people who do, and then obviously you have the customers.
Right.
Like I don't know why we don't have, I actually love that Walmart is in Arkansas. I don't know why we don't have more company headquarters in places where they actually interact with the customers.
Okay, that's a great point. But remember, they farm out their image making and branding to Madison Avenue.
Yep.
Maybe
Which is crazy.
Maybe the most.
What does somebody in New York City know about what somebody in?
It's not even in New York City. They populate themselves. And for my book, Go Woke, Go Broke, I interviewed some people on Madison Avenue about what's it like to work at these advertising firms. The DEI sort of implementation of not just the personnel at these advertising firms, but how they have to implement branding is mind-boggling. It affects everything. You have to have, by the way, it's the reason why, when was the last time you saw a straight white dude and a straight white woman in a car together in a car ad?
It's so true.
It's never. Or a straight black guy with a straight black woman. It's literally this sort of this world that they're creating of interracial marriages. And by the way, I'm not saying it's bad.
No, but an alternate universe
where it's not reality.
Everyone is meeting a certain diversity criteria.
Yeah, and it's not reality. And I think that's why Cracker Barrel, you gave the deep six to Uncle Herschel. Now they had to bring him back. It's why the Sydney Sweeney ad, like, just in many ways,
all roads lead to Sydney Sweeney.
Well, of course, we always have to go back to her. But it's why it was such an outlier, because the company did not probably listen to their Madison Avenue branding gurus. They probably said, well, here's a hot blonde lady. Let's put her in jeans. I mean, it's just what it is. And then they didn't back off, and the stock is up. And if you notice, Cracker Barrel stock is up on the Uncle Herschel move. But I will just say that they're still pretty woke. Read my story in the New York Post about it.
That is very interesting. That even if they're trying to publicly walk something back, that may not actually transcend to their own corporate policies, which is kind of sneaky. You know, it's I don't know. It's kind of misleading.
I know, I'm going to complain.
But this is truly why the parallel economy is
Uncle Herschel's
so big,
woke. Then that means
is people are tired of supporting these causes that maybe they're not really aligned with.
I think Madison Avenue needs a shakeup in Madison Avenue. I mean, I think if Trump really cares about the culture war, he should go after Madison Avenue, because it is the image-making machine of America, and it is decidedly woke, and it does not reflect.
I do think more marketing dollars, just by nature of the interwebs, I think marketing dollars are being disseminated to creators and influencers. It's not just
a lot of times
John Hamm advertising executive anymore. I think it is much
that's
more
why it's woke,
diverse and distributed.
That's why it's woke. If these influencers are decidedly woke, and so Madison Avenue. Listen, John Hamm in the old days, they were not woke. Remember the Mad Men days? They did cigarette ads with the least woke product in the world. I mean, that's what Dylan Mulvaney was. Yeah. Dylan Mulvaney, they went, I mean, I reported this out. Budweiser said, okay, we have these DEI policies. They're also pertain to influencers. Let's get a trans woman activist influencer. And Dylan Mulvaney, if you're going to go there, is the best of that lot. Yeah. So remember, that's how they got to Dylan Mulvaney.
The best and the brightest.
Yeah.
Speaking of woke policies and companies, so Southwest Airlines, until a few days ago, had this policy that if you were overweight, you would buy 2 tickets, so you don't interfere with somebody and their seat, but you would get reimbursed on one of them. Well, now they're cracking down on that. So this woman who is an overweight influencer went viral because she posted this thing about how it is dehumanizing, it's unfair, the system is rigged because they're not basically supporting her decision and giving her money back for one of the tickets.
Now, did they make you buy the second ticket still?
They still make you buy the second ticket, but you have to pay for it. But this woman is probably 600 pounds.
Oh my God.
She clearly needs to have 2 seats. She's lambasting the company, saying that they used to be an ally. But what's crazy is the language that she uses is the same language that we hear for all the woke causes, right? It's they're violating my rights. It's like there is no right in the Constitution. There's a lot of rights enumerated. There is no right enumerated that you get to have 2 seats on an airplane for free. And it's just crazy to kind of see it on this issue, which is obviously absurd. Why would an airline have to basically fund her second seat? When I bring my dog on an airline, I have to pay $150, even though it counts as one of my pieces of luggage.
Right.
And I haven't gone viral for complaining about that, although maybe I should. But it's like, I don't know, just the insanity of wokeness. People thinking that everyone should subsidize and celebrate their decisions.
I mean, I think that's the problem with some of this stuff is that your rights exist as long as they don't violate my rights. Right? If you want to be 700 pounds, go for it. It's not good for you.
But that's the thing, is this generation.
But if you want to get on an airplane at 700 pounds, well, you're not going to be able to accommodate you, and I should not be subsidizing your 700 pounds to be on the airplane. So I think that violates a very fundamental sort of American value, which is we all have rights, we all have speech. By the way, we all have First Amendment rights.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean my First Amendment rights means I can say anything I want on the air right now, and the New York Post has to put up with it. It doesn't. It's on their dime, not mine. And so I'm just saying that.
But I don't think this would have happened a few years ago. I think Southwest probably only now feels that they have the ability to kind of roll back, because this woman is furious about it. She's going viral. But there hasn't been the backlash that I think maybe you would have seen a few years ago.
Yeah, I mean,
if they tried to roll
or
this
the fact that
policy
they did a 180. They're not going to do a 180. You're not going to see much 180s on woke.
Yeah.
You're going to see 180s after you go woke. And I think this is sort of a key thing that businesses, and why they have to re-examine their relationship with the Madison Avenue branding machine, is that woke selling to a mass audience does not work. It's a liability. It should be
totally.
It should be put into perspective.
People are very libertarian, I think, as a population. People are fine for anyone to do anything.
Yeah, it's just not on
but
their
they
dime.
They don't want to subsidize it, and they don't want to ram down their throat.
Yeah, and they don't want to be proselytized, the ram down your throat part. And I think that's the whole thing. And what I found interesting is, by the way, you do see some businesses now, some public companies starting to put down as a risk factor wokeness. Now, Disney went out and said, I'm paraphrasing, but as a sort of potential pitfall to the stock, there might be political issues that come across from some of our broadcasting that the public might not like, that might be controversial. So be aware, Mr. Investor. BlackRock did the same thing.
Yeah.
Others have done that because BlackRock was big into ESG investing, or is. So this is now becoming a risk factor, and I think if you're going to embrace DEI to its fullest, be prepared for your stock to go down. I mean, it's going to get. We're going to cover it. It's going to get bounced around the markets. And by the way, it should go down. I mean, DEI is like the worst thing to have if you want a meritocracy, and most businesses should be meritocracies.
Totally. Charlie, you had a great story about CBS and the new ombudsman.
So this is like a monitor for their left-wing bias that in the news department that came out of Brendan Carr, the FCC chair, said if you want me to approve the deal, you have to do certain things. You have to get rid of DEI, but you have to have an ombudsman for 2 years. And they said sure. And the ombudsman is supposed to make sure that they're right down the middle in terms of news. They're not tilting the scales to Kamala Harris or Joe Biden and all this stuff. And so they're going to have an ombudsman. And by the way, that's kind of common at most newspapers, at least for many years. The New York Times used to have an ombudsman that used to actually weigh in, like a public editor. He was called, or she was called. I don't know if they have that anymore. But anyway, this is kind of common. This is different because it was a condition for the merger, and it's also what's different about this. It's not just weighing in on how great the stories were or how bad the stories were. It's literally weighing in on bias. So they have been calling. So they put out kind of like a want ad.
Which, frankly, this sounds like kind of a difficult, not very pleasant job to be watching all day and paying attention to bias.
This is the criteria. It's not watching all day. They're going to pay you $250,000 a year plus or whatever. That's kind of like the starting salary. They're advertising it as right now as working 1 day a month.
Whoa.
And that's where they're starting.
How can you monitor their coverage if you're working 1 day a month? I feel like this would be a 24/7 kind of thing.
Well, listen, I interviewed a few people on this, and people in the telecom legal business, and they said the same thing. But that's how they're advertising it. And what's fascinating about it is that
maybe they're going to have 31 of them.
But listen to this. This is where it got interesting for me. So I write the story, we put it in the Post, it got a lot good play. And then I'm getting bombarded with emails. Whoa, can you forward my resume? I really want this job. And these are like broadcast type people and all. It was just fascinating how many people called me.
Well, it sounds like sitting on a board. Yeah, if you're literally working 1 day. It's not a full-time job.
So, yeah, that's how it's advertised. So, or at least now. So what I'm going to tell everybody is Jeff Shell, the head of CBS, George Cheeks, who is a leftover from Paramount, who's underneath Jeff Shell, I guess running the news division. Send your resume to them. Call them, because they're the guys that are picking this position or are doing this sort of search for this position. But I will say this: if it's only 1 day a week for $250K, that's a sweet gig.
Winners and losers. I have a winner, obviously Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce getting engaged, but kind of a fun follow to that story. A source of mine is unveiling an ETF that is trying to track the Taylor Swift engagement. So it's a basket of stocks like Richemont, which owns Cartier. She wore a Cartier watch in the engagement photo. So people are saying like, oh, it's gonna have a transformative impact. Everyone's gonna get married, all of these things. So he's unveiled this ETF that's trying to track the stocks that could benefit. So that's my winner. Really everyone. Travis, Taylor, the stock index, everyone's a winner.
You know, I want to say Cracker Barrel is still the loser. Okay? What's the matter?
No, I mean, I thought they'd be a winner because
they're still a loser.
Did the 180.
They're still a loser because they're still immersed in DEI and woke corporate policies. And I think even though they did the 180, they got a pop in their stock. People are going to go, you know, read my stuff in the New York Post and others, and they're going to realize that, you know, this is still, you know, the same old. And, you know, Uncle Herschel, you know, he might look like a MAGA supporter with the overalls, but he's just a liberal himself. He's just a virtue signaling.
He's a Mawa.
No, I don't know what
Make
he is.
America woke again.
Yeah, he's a Mawa himself.